Ukraine literally means borderland in Slavic, and even though the country has had a distinct culture and heritage, its borders and identity have been fought over for centuries. CCTV's Nathan King takes a look back into Ukraine's past and how it might shape its future.
From the streets of Kiev to Crimea, Ukraine seems a nation divided, pulled in different directions. This is not a new phenomenon for Ukraine or Ukrainians. Ancient Rome, ancient Greece, Byzantium, Mongol, Ottoman and Austro-Hungarian empires all have held sway over part or all of what is now Ukraine. But it's Ukraine's shared origins with Russia in the cradle of Slavic civilization, a federation of East Slavic tribes that called themselves the Kievan Rus, that has linked Ukraine to Russia for more than a millennium.
Present-day territories of Belarus, parts of European Russia, Ukraine, Poland to some degree. And this is where they really begin the story of the nationhood as such. During this time, especially towards the 12th century, the Kievan Rus had its own golden age.
In the 20th century, Ukraine's history is closely tied to that of the former Soviet Union. Following the revolution, Ukraine became the breadbasket of the Soviet Union. It is still one of the largest grain producers in the world today. But famine hit hard. In the 1930s, millions died in the Soviet Ukraine as local farmers resisted collectivization policies. Food stocks were destroyed or confiscated. The Holodomor, which means extermination by hunger in Ukrainian, led to mass starvation, and around 4 million Ukrainians perished. During the Second World War, the Nazis occupied Ukraine. Harsh treatment by the Germans provoked many Ukrainians into joining the Russian Red Army. Many Ukrainian nationalists, however, collaborated with the Germans and fought against Soviet troops. In the 1950s, the late Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev, originally from Ukraine, ceded the Crimean Peninsula to Ukraine, even though it was part of the Soviet Union. This gesture, which has much relevance today, is hotly debated by historians. This period also saw rapid industrialization of Ukraine, which became a world leader in arms manufacturing and technology. But the Chernobyl nuclear disaster of 1986, which occurred in northern Ukraine, helped fuel the country's independence movement. The 1991 breakup of the Soviet Union led to the creation of what we know now as modern-day Ukraine. The country declared independence in 1991 after a referendum in which 92% of Ukrainians voted in favor of the move. 54% of those who cast ballots in Crimea also voted for independence. Economic growth followed, as did a landmark agreement which ended Ukraine's days as a nuclear power. In 1996, Kiev sent around 1,900 nuclear warheads to Russia for dismantling. But corruption, growing income inequality and recession helped provoke the so-called Orange Revolution of 2004, which exposed Ukraine's ethnic and regional divisions.
Politicians have used these cleavages as in order to campaign during the elections. And oftentimes, this was because it was the easiest thing to do. It was easy to campaign not on economic reforms or any substantial political matters, but something that you can galvanize around pro-Russia, against Russia. But when they came to power, they would do the same thing they did all over, sort of the pillage and of the economy and of state assets.
Political power struggles continue to consume and corrupt the Ukrainian political system, which led to the social fractures we see now across the country. Ukraine, fully independent since only 1991, has yet to fully address its past or its future. The history of Russia and Ukraine is intertwined, but it's different versions of that history that are now being used to shape its future. Nathan King, CCTV, Washington.